Hi, I'm Emily Falvey, and I'm a staff songwriter at SMACKSongs and Warner Chappell.
Hey, I'm Evie Grace Fowler, and I'm a senior at Belmont studying Songwriting and Music Business.
I'm Kat Caudill, and this is Bruins on Cue. How are you guys? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So this is really cool because we did a podcast actually a year and a week ago today, which was like our test episode for the entire idea of like this whole podcast. So I really appreciate you guys coming back and being here. This is so fun.
We are happy to be here.
Yeah, it's a joy to be back.
Yeah, and you guys have both done a lot in the past year. So I want to kind of like go ahead and get started, like going over all of those things. Evie, you're graduating really soon.
Like 4 weeks, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy.
How does that feel?
It feels good. Honestly, I'm going to miss Belmont so much, and I'm so appreciative for everything that it's given me. And I think I've also just done so much in my time here that now I feel ready for whatever's going to come next.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Belmont. I'm going to miss it a lot.
Yeah, me too. And then Emily, you started your own podcast.
Sure did, yeah.
Over Melody, which I was like, oh my god, it's so cool. And you've had a lot of cuts this year too, so you've been booked and busy.
Yeah, and I have been teaching my first semester back at Belmont, which has been kind of a wild journey too. So yeah, definitely very booked and busy, probably too busy, but
yeah. Well, that's often the case.
Yeah.
You're both go-getters, so you know.
Here we are.
Here we are. fitting yourselves into all our busy schedules.
Yeah, this is so fun.
Yeah, it's it's nice to be able to like take like, since I feel like a lot of us are so busy, to like take time to like sit down and talk and reflect about all of these things, because we are doing so many things, especially right now. It's like crunch time, and like I'm graduating too, and so like I just feel like there's so much to consider and so many details to think about, but it's nice to be able to sit down and talk about all of that. So one thing I did want to start off and talk about is this year Evie and I have done so many writers retreats, and a lot of your songs that you've cut, and you've done like ones with Walker Hayes and Cody Johnson and Jenna Davis and like Tierra Kennedy and like all these people, but a lot of them were written on retreats.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about writers retreats, and like kind of like for anyone who doesn't really know what a writer's retreat even is, or if they've never been on one, give me the spiel and like your thoughts on all of that.
I love a writer's retreat. Do you want to go first?
Well, I feel like you have been planning them and executing them really beautifully, so I'd love to hear about your experience with your pals.
Yeah, so writer's retreats were something that I wanted to do for a really long time. My parents have a lake house 2 hours away from here in Paris, Tennessee. And so all throughout college, I've been just brainstorming different combinations of people and all of these things. And like you said, I'm a planner for sure. And I think I was over planning it just a little bit. And so at the beginning of this year, Julia, one of our friends, texted me and was like, hey, my friends and I are thinking about doing this writer's retreat. Would you want to help or like plan part of it? And I was like, well, funny you should say that, because I wanted to do one forever. Why don't we combine forces and just take all of our friends to the lake for a weekend and have a writer's retreat? And so that's how it started. We threw it together really quickly and had what I would say was the best weekend ever.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was a blast.
We had so much fun.
I got no sleep, but you know.
No, zero sleep. We came back and I was like, where am I? But we wrote so many good songs, and it was just so fun to be out of context with everybody from Belmont and just like be writing songs for the sake of writing songs and not for a project or a artist, anything. Like it was just purely for fun, which was awesome.
Yeah. I feel like we're moving into more of that now, because like we did start off, at least for me, like we started off writing a lot of our songs for classes, and now we're like just writing them for fun, and I guess like for serious too, but like it's nice to kind of like be seeing it like in real time and like actually like, oh yeah, like we're doing this like as a real thing, you know?
Well, it's nice too. I feel like being here, I've definitely fallen into the squeezing a write in between. I'll have internship all day and then a really quick write and then going to night class and, you know, just going to all of these different things. And I still love that I'm getting to write day to day, but I think I've fallen into writing a little too quickly and being a little too quick to say, let's get the song done, or we'll just do this, like we'll just not have a bridge, or we'll not whatever.
I know.
Which I don't like that, but
I know.
Just for the sake of finishing the song.
I know.
Not being in town, I think, gave us the freedom to say, like, what if we did this crazy thing that we wouldn't normally do in this song, or let's try the second verse, and then if we don't like it, scrap it. And so just having the freedom to take a little more time with it, I think was really nice too.
I think about that a lot because I'm a little bit more of a slow writer, I feel like, personally. And like I feel like a lot of people, and you can add on this too, like doing it as a professional, but like a lot of people want to get a song done and like they just want to, you know, get it done quick. And I think sometimes it's quality over quantity. And I don't know how you guys feel about that, but like everybody kind of has a different way that they like to do it. And so it can be difficult sometimes to get in the room with people that want to just finish a song, at least for me. But then there's also people that I can finish a song quicker with. It just depends. But I don't know, like, do you feel like it's better to get a song done or kind of the quality over quantity thing?
Yeah, well, there's different schools of thought on that. I think for me, I don't want to rush through something if I know it's a great idea. I think that is the advantage of being on a writer's retreat, is songwriting's kind of a momentum game. Yeah. And when you're all sitting in a room and you know that your whole intention for being away from your family, away from your routine, is to write songs, and ultimately, typically my retreats are usually artist focused. Yeah. So we're writing for a record. We know exactly what holes we're trying to fill. And that is like, you know, the thing that I enjoy the most is just kind of chasing after somebody's intentions.
Yeah.
I think in town there's always, you know, I have to go and pick my kids up from school at 3:00. There's always things that are kind of pulling us away from the writer's room.
Yeah.
I do think that there's also something to just like your batting average as a songwriter. Taking as many swings as possible gives you the opportunity to get more cuts. And I think that was my school of thought for probably the first 5 years of my career. Was I'm just going to write 8 times a week, because then the more songs I write, the more cuts I'm going to get.
Yeah.
Which was great, but I did feel it's easy to get burnt out by writing so much, and just to kind of have to continually be replenishing ideas. It's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
And so now I'm more of the school of thought of I'm going to be really prepared for the sessions that matter and show up where I need to be. But there's definitely, you know, there's folklore in town that Ashley Gorley writes 3 songs a day, 9 to 12, 12 to 3, 3 to 6.
Do you think that's true?
I kind of do believe it.
I believe it a little bit.
And so I think like there's a reason the volume of his success is because he never stops. And I do think that's the case with some of the people that are having extraordinary success right now, is it's just because they write 4 songs a day.
Yeah.
And so I think there's something to that. But also I look a lot to my publisher, Shane McAnally, and his hits have always had a lot of heart and intention behind them, and there's always an extraordinary idea at the root of it.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between having a hit and having a hit that has heart to it.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm just a heart-focused writer, for better, for worse. I do think like we all want to make money and have success, but I think that there's, you know, I think sometimes songs with heart require that extra mile. I don't always get songs done in one session. I think I was way more focused on that earlier in my career. But even Made in the USA, my song that just came out on Cody Johnson, it was a song that took 2 co-writes to finish. And I think I used to feel shame of like I'm not getting it done quick enough. But I also think good songs are worth fighting for. And just because you don't get the bridge in 4 hours doesn't mean that you're a failure of a songwriter.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just trusting your gut and knowing when to fight for things and when to say, okay, we can just like move on to the next idea.
Yeah.
So I think it just requires discernment.
I agree. And I think like, because like Catalog Cast, not to bring in Catalog Cast, but I'm probably going to, because
it's the coolest thing ever.
It's awesome. And I guess we've all done it.
We've all done it.
Yeah.
Wait, and that wasn't true like as of a year ago. So that's cool. So we can talk about that too. But Catalog Cast, we talk about, because we have in our top 10, and I'll explain it too for people that don't know what it is, but we create like a catalog of 10 songs, and it's a super awesome program that Belmont like gives us just like an opportunity to kind of go meet with publishers and listen to uncut gems, and then we create a catalog. And out of the top 10 songs that we created, a lot of them were like heartthrob songs. A lot of them were very like emotional, deep, well thought out, which is my favorite kind of song. But we all kept saying, well, we need some songs that aren't like that. And I think like obviously, I don't know, I think it tends to be like in a writing session, it takes longer to write those kinds of songs that have like these complex lyrics and like these lines that you just like hear and you're like, oh my God, like how did they come up with that? But like not all songs have to be those songs too. And so like the songs that aren't going to be that are going to take less time to write. And like I think it also is about intention and like who you're writing with as well.
And sometimes maybe not. Sometimes those like very easy sounding hits are really carefully crafted too. So I don't want to take anything away from like the non-heart songs, because I think there's also such an art to being a hit maker and writing a song that's geared towards country radio. I think it's all really valiant, work and noble creativity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just want I've always said I want to write songs that matter.
Yeah.
And some days writing a song about a truck matters. That's not always my bag, but I think there's creative.
It's not my dream.
There's creative integrity to all of it. Even this, long neck, ice cold beer never broke my heart.
Such a good song.
Makes people go wild, and there's something to electrifying a crowd. There's, I think there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about writing.
Yeah. And good is subjective. Like, every audience is different. And then, and that's also just in country, too. Like, there's so many genres. And I know you write mostly country. And, you're a big country gal, but we all kind of write pop and country and all the things. But, you had a lot of songs on your top 2024 favorite songs that were pop. And I was like, I love pop. I love Charlie XCX. I love Tate McRae. I love Role Model. And I'm just, a big fan of that type of music. And so I think, being able to shapeshift and kind of just be everything. Not be everything for everyone, but, shapeshift as a songwriter is really important.
For people who don't follow Emily on Instagram, you should. Because she has the coolest list. I look forward to it every year before I even knew you. Just the best wrap of all of the songs and albums from the year. So yeah, it's awesome.
It's fun. I probably, it's definitely, I always leave stuff out that I've realized later. One year, the SZA album came out, the SOS 2 years ago. It came out in the middle of December, and I'd already made my list. And then that ended up being the main album of my year. So I feel like it's not always comprehensive, but I do my best.
And sometimes you listen to things again. And, I'm such a big listener of, the first time I listen to something, I don't always like it. And then I listen to it again, and I'm like, wow, I actually love this. And this
I do that with everything.
I do
I have that with a lot of, it's so rare because of how much music comes out to, come back to something. But when I do and I live with a project, I typically can find a lot more merit in it than if it just doesn't blow me away on the first pass. That's happened with a few albums recently where I've been I wasn't super blown away, and then I went back and listened again and lived with it, and I was oh, this is amazing. I just needed a second. But it's so rare to get that second now, so it's just kind of scary how much music is out there.
I know. I heard a thing, I wish I could pinpoint from where, but there's 100 songs released. Maybe not 100, that doesn't sound like enough, but several thousand songs released a day from so many different genres and so many different people. And I think there's just this kind of overconsumption in the music industry right now, almost. I feel when I was younger, I would listen to songs and know immediately, yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And now it kind of takes me a second. And I don't know if that's because there is so much and my brain is kind of overwhelmed. But even with Lizzie McAlpine is one of my favorites, and she's kind of in the middle there, that alternative indie style. But Older and Wiser is one of my favorite albums ever. Mm-hmm. And I kind of didn't like it at all in the beginning, which is so weird. And I'm I wonder why that happened over time for me, why that was a gradual, a slow burn of a love for an album,
Lizzie's music is so dense that I think you have to kind of live with it and fully understand the depth of every line.
Yeah. Yeah. There's lines I pick out even now, Soccer Practice.
Soccer Practice is my favorite one.
It's so good. It's I just, oh my god. And I think when she released that deluxe version of that album and that song came out, there's a line, it's something it's always been you or something, or I'm always gonna oh, what is it? It's I'm always gonna never want to come back to you or something. It's about having that one person and always being I want to be able to say no to you eventually.
Yes.
And it's even that line in and of itself is not a crazy line, but the way she delivers it is so
say no to you.
Yeah. I'm sure people have said that before, but I'm for some reason the way you do that is just so good. But yeah, Lizzie for sure. A lot of songs you have to sit with for a second. And then, but I love it. I'm obsessed.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
So I also want to ask about some of your favorite songs for 2025. And Evie, you can chime on in this too, because we're only a couple months in. But I'm wondering if you've added any ones onto your list so far.
Is it inappropriate to look at my phone?
No.
Can I grab mine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say that's hard.
I'll hit some highlights. I think everything Lacey K. Booth does is extraordinary. So she just came out with a song called Daddy's Mugshot that I think is insane.
It's so good.
I love so much. Award Season by Bon Iver is like one of the best lyrics I've ever heard. And I used to kind of be scared of Bon Iver. I felt like he was for like cool people that live in East Nashville, and I didn't really like, I was very scared. And then the lyric, I was driving home from something in East Nashville, incidentally, and I listened to that lyric, and it says something about, oh, how everything can change in such a small time frame.
Yeah.
And I think in your later 20s, everybody has a different timeline that they're living in, and the lyric just really hit me, so that was really special.
Cool people in East Nashville.
You know, that's something crazy is their drum tech did my tattoo in East Nashville, and when he was doing it, I was like, this is crazy. Like you work with such cool people.
Yeah.
I know, that's one of my fun facts.
I love it.
Okay, one of mine is actually from a Belmont alum named Ellie Rowe.
Rowe.
Oh, is she an alum?
She is.
I think she's amazing. I follow her on TikTok.
Yes,
she's
she's
cool.
amazing. We actually went to a summer camp together the summer after my freshman year of high school.
Wow.
And I immediately was like, who is this girl? Like, she's so good.
Yeah.
But she just released this song called Fentanyl and Wedding Rings.
Yes, I've heard it.
Oh, like, ouch. I'm not scared of many things, just fentanyl and wedding rings. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's insane. I know.
Ah.
She's amazing.
Have you heard Someone Else in Jesus by Ricky Manning?
Yes.
I feel like they're in the same kind of world of things, and Ricky's a dear friend of mine, and I find that like folksy singer-songwriter world is such a gift.
Yeah.
That's like my like key to my heart is the folksy like Americana singer-songwriter. Lake and Campo. You know Lake and Campo.
I do.
They graduated like last year and released a song called Wedding Singer, and it's about like someone from the perspective of like someone they used to date getting married, and they're like, I'm gonna be at your wedding and sing because that's the only way that you'll listen to me. Like, that's the whole
tough
hook. And I'm like, how do people even, like, you've got to be really sad sometimes to come up with this kind of stuff. Like, that's crazy.
I also love everything that Just Jane's doing.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows I'm a fan. I talk about it all the time. And we had them come in for a meeting for the Songwriting Association.
Fun.
But they're awesome. And that's a great example, too, I think, of just music that, like, is very deep lyrically, like in a lot of their songs, but comes across very like boppy and fun. But they just do such a good job, I think, being like a country girl group. And I saw them live for the first time at CMA Fest last year, and was so impressed by all of their choreography and their branding coordination. Like everywhere down the street where they were performing, they had these fans with their logo and like the spray paint and all these things, and they just do such a good job with their branding and their music, making it all so cohesive. So I think that's part of the reason why I love them. But
yeah,
they're
that's awesome. Yep, big
Yeah.
fan of all three of them. They were at Belmont in my era, so,
That's so
big
cool.
fan.
That's cool.
I'm trying to think what else. I have so many
I'm
things.
trying to look at some too. I have Brat all over this.
Yes.
because-
Yeah, I came back because of TikTok to Party For You, which is from the last album, and that really was such a gift of a song
That's
too.
been one of my car songs. I go through like car songs and I listen. It's like the same song for like a month that I listen to every time I get into the car, and that was one of my car songs for like a very long time.
I love it. I love the new Tate album.
Yeah, I'm gonna see her live in September. I'm
Unreal.
so excited.
That's going to be extraordinary. I really love Sam Fender.
Okay. Yeah.
Arm's Length is an extraordinary song. If y'all, I'm sure you guys know Thelma and James.
Yes. So good.
But I'm so excited about what they're doing.
Happened to Me by Russell Dickerson is a bop.
Yeah.
So good.
You bring the country to the table,
Yes,
my friend.
please.
Also, If I Had Never Lost My Mind. That is my answer. Sorry, that was loud. If I Had Never Lost My Mind by Carter Faith. Holy crap.
Carter Faith is like, I'm obviously not like a big like I don't listen to as much country as you guys probably do, but Carter Faith like slaps. I love Carter
she's
Faith.
amazing.
She's like Lana Del Rey meets country to me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
it's a good comparison.
Yeah, I listened to it was called like Late Bloomer or something, one of her songs. That's like one of my favorite, because a lot of people don't like write songs about that specific like thing, and I adore that she wrote a song about that specifically.
She's incredible.
She's awesome.
Her
Big
voice
fan.
alone, her writing's incredible, but then you hear her sing. It's the whole combination. She's just awesome.
Yeah, she's a gift.
I want to go back to also something, Evie, that you said about branding, because you were talking about, because you're also like kind of a big, like you have kind of an aesthetic for your Instagram.
Thanks.
I know sometimes you don't think you do, but when I look at your Instagram compared to my Instagram, I'm like,
Your
this
Instagram
girl
is great.
No, it's not. It has like 5 posts. My 5 posts are great. But I want to ask you about, like, do you feel like, because you're not pursuing the artist thing, at least maybe not right now.
I'm not.
But like, what is kind of like, as a songwriter, and like you can touch on this too, like the branding that you do as a songwriter, how do you feel like that's different, and like what do you do for that? Because you do a lot
Yeah.
of TikToks and videos and things like that.
I do, and I credit that to growing up looking up to Nicole Gallion.
Yeah.
100%. I think before I was here, which I don't know how much you want to get into past stuff, but growing up only 3 hours away but wanting to be here the entire time that I lived in Memphis, I turned to Instagram to feel like I was here when we didn't drive up for weekends and things like that. And so I followed, more than artists, I was a fan of songwriters and followed Shane and Nicole and that whole era of songwriters. And watching Nicole's posts and how cohesive they were and how she documented life as a songwriter so well. And that's how I knew what being a songwriter was, honestly. And I had a couple examples of people that I knew of, but she was the first person that I could see on social media just documenting her life, writing for other people and playing rounds and doing all these things. And so I think it started there. And more just like it evolved into a love for just making things pretty on Instagram.
Yeah.
I think it's just fun to be able to tell a story in that way too. And
Yeah.
I try to not put a lot of pressure on it just because I think it is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever fall into the trap of doing things for the sake of posting them or like
Right.
spending too long on a
I
post
never
and
wanna.
not living in the moment. Or, I never want to do that.
No.
But I do think it's fun just to be able to tell a story in a way through a post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's
So
funny
fun.
is like I've stopped posting for people's birthdays now on Instagram because I'm like I just don't have it in me to like create a post for you. I'm just gonna text you and like I know we're cool. Like
I know
it's,
you love. I love you. We're good.
it's not gonna
Yeah.
ruin the friendship if I don't post about it, you know. So like it's like things like that over time I've gotten not lazier. I just care less and less about it. And like I should probably develop my Instagram a little bit, but when I do that, I'll look to you and be like, help me.
Your
with
Instagram's great.
Thank you. What about you? Do you feel like
Yeah.
because some songwriters are bigger about that and some aren't.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like that's like a necessity, or do you feel like that's kind of just to each their own?
I think it's to each their own, and I think it brings out people's creativity. I think y'all both. I love your like T-minus X number of
love
weeks
it.
until graduation.
I think it's stressing people out.
I love and hate it.
No, I think it's great, but I think I'm watching as some of my friends are starting to use TikTok to their advantage. Like they're posting uncut songs on their social media, and that's actually helping their songwriting career.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's something to using social media as a tool for my own mental health.
Yeah.
I need to make Instagram less of a big deal because I think that it can be such a tool of comparison for me.
Yeah.
So I think it's just knowing yourself and knowing your own capacity for it.
Yeah.
But I think it's amazing, and I love getting to keep up with people's lives. It's really such a joy, to watch as people have big wins. And I don't know, it's just it's a wild thing. For me, it's like I just use it to post my cuts because I feel like it's honestly like an Instagram resume for a lot of people.
It's like LinkedIn in a way.
It kind of is, which is weird. But
Yeah.
I try to make it authentically, like it looks like it's my heart and my life, but I also, I try to limit my exposure as much as I can.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't think I could, as soon as I can, like get a social media manager, I'm like I'm done. I'm sad. Like, I just don't want to. Emmy Moyen talks about this thing called Post and Ghost, where she just like will film a TikTok and then she puts it on there and then she exits out and she doesn't look at it for the rest of the day. And I'm like, that's exactly how I am now, even though I'm also simultaneously addicted to the apps, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword, but like I can't go on it. It just like it stresses me out.
I've been giving myself 20 minutes a day, so I set the timer, and so I know if I
Yes.
get on the app, whether to check a post or to actually make the post or anything like that, I immediately want to get out of the app because I know the timer is about to be up.
Yeah.
So that's really helps me.
That's brilliant.
That's
It
smart.
works.
I feel like you're the kind of person that would follow the like time limit thing.
I like some structure.
I don't
Yeah.
nail it. I have set some limits for myself, and I'm always like, remind me in 15 minutes or remind me never, so I need to do better. But
Yeah, I'm like, if I mess it up one time, then I'm like, I'm just gonna let myself do it the whole day.
Yeah,
Like, all
exactly.
day, it's fine.
Yep,
And then
yep,
that
yep,
ruins
yep.
it for me. But I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be better for 2025.
Yeah.
Because I want to have a brain left when
Yeah.
I'm like 50.
Amen.
That's like one of my deep fears is like
Yeah.
being a vegetable. I'm like, I don't want it.
Well,
I don't want that.
I feel like I might have talked to both of you about this, but I heard that our generation will be the first generation to die with more memories of other people's lives than our own lives because of social media. And that's when I deleted TikTok. I have limits on everything because I was like, I don't want to look back and just remember what you ate for breakfast.
That's
Like,
a song.
You know what I mean?
You should
Yeah.
write a song
We
about
should
that.
write a song about
we
that.
should write
Someone
a song.
else's memories, yeah.
Ugh.
That's
hate that.
low-key brutal.
I know. It made me want to delete everything. Like everything.
Yeah.
That is really dark.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, just brought me down. It's okay. Man, we were doing so good.
No, these are things that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
So.
Alert the masses.
Yeah.
Social media is bad for you.
Yeah. As if we didn't know that already.
Our phones are killing us.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think about that a lot too, like with my, and then I'll get back to more of the questions, but my attention span has like gotten so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But weirdly, I gave up like Instagram and TikTok for Lent, and we're still in Lent, and I'm still going on it, but like I was doing really well, and I noticed that like not being on it for a few days, I was able to watch a full YouTube video and not look at my phone. And I was like, wait, this is awesome. I need to test this out with other things, like with movies and stuff, and like reading books. Like, I'm like, if I can do that, because I feel like as a kid, I just could read for like hours and hours and hours and like not get bored. Like now I pick up a book and in like 2 minutes, I'm like, nope, I'm out. Like I gotta check the phone.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad and scary. Another thing I want to talk about is the songwriting mentorship thing. So what I think is really cool is like you guys obviously like knew each other like long before like the podcast and everything, but I want to know like how you decided, because Evie you're doing the songwriting mentorship with Emily this semester, which is a thing that Belmont does for senior songwriting majors, and a lot of our friends are doing, which I think is awesome, because it's also been cool to like see how everyone's styles are kind of matching up with like different mentors. But tell me about how, like, did you like ask Emily, or was Emily like reaching out to you? Like, how did you get that going?
I reached out to Emily because she's a rock star, and actually through the podcast that we did with you last year, I just realized how many similarities we have. And I had so many questions just about the way that you've approached different things and you know, just in your career now. So I reached out to Emily. It was just like, would you consider this? And because she's the coolest person ever, she said yes.
Oh.
So yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah. I did a similar thing with Emily Weisband when I was here, so I was honored. But yeah, I honestly, Drew is the one who ultimately decides. But it is such a joy that we've gotten to be together this semester, and I'm so thrilled. So it's been a joy to get to see you be the badass you are.
Thank you.
So true. Evie is badass.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I also want to ask about Emily Weisband, because you were mentored by her.
Yeah.
How do you feel like, obviously you were much younger, but do you feel like she kind of like, the way she mentored you impacts the way that you mentor Evie? Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's so fun to see everybody's different styles, and Emily's so extraordinary. And she was so honest and vulnerable in our sessions, and I feel like hopefully I haven't overshared, but I feel like I've had, you know, I just don't want, and that's been my heart being a professor this semester too, is like to make people feel prepared for what's ahead. And I feel like Emily did a great job of that with me, of like, she explained dynamics socially. She talked a lot about her own experience in life and love, and she was just really open-hearted. I feel like that's how she lives her life, is with a lot of vulnerability, and it's really beautiful. So yeah, I feel like hopefully I carry some of that with me, and I think the world of her as a songwriter and a person. So yeah, I just am grateful to have had somebody's footsteps to follow in, and I'm sure you'll be the same kind of person when you're in the seat to mentor.
I agree. I think for sure. I hope you mentor somebody, because
I would love to mentor somebody once
I
have
no
more
doubt.
experience.
It's just in your blood. Like you're just like, you also just like have such a, like, I don't know, you're so good at like explaining things to people and like listening to people and like being intentional. And I think that whoever in like, I guess 10, 15 years, whoever is mentored by you will be very lucky, because I think like, I just think you would eat that up, like. Thank truly
you. That's so sweet. Well, Emily, I feel like you just have such a, you walk the line between sharing everything that I need to know and also saying it in a way that's so encouraging. And you've never said anything that scared me. It's always very like, this is the reality of XYZ. And I'm like, okay, that makes me feel so much more prepared.
It's
like,
scarier to not know.
I may have scared my lyric writing students, so if any of them are watching, sorry. I think the music industry is in, I say this a lot publicly, but we're in a cooler place than we've ever been, but also the scariest place we've ever been, especially pure songwriters, just with the way Spotify has disrupted our pay structure. And I just think it's a much harder place to make money than it ever has been for people who don't want to be artists or producers, or like, I'm just a straight up top liner, and I've had to be really creative just to keep my lights on and afford to live in Nashville. And I wish we talked about that more. And so mostly I just am like, if you're not actively having hits on the radio, it can be really disheartening. And so
Ashley Orley writing songs today, you know,
which I do, you know, I keep up with the best of them as far as like frequency is concerned, and I've worked really hard for a lot of years, and still it's taken longer than I thought that it would. And so I think, I pray everybody has an easier path, and that's my hope as a mentor, is like if I can say something along the way that makes somebody's path go faster or be easier than having to make the mistakes that I made. That's kind of my heart. But I think Belmont is such a warm, inclusive, and like happy place.
I would agree.
That it
we're leaving it, so
well, I think that's, you don't know, because you're given this extraordinary opportunity where people are like, you're getting to hear from all sorts of extraordinary like high level executives, and people are so generous with their time to students, and then you get sent out into the world and it's a whole different ball of wax. And so I just want people to feel equipped and set up to be their best selves in post-grad. But I think it's definitely a culture shock to go from like this Christian institution that's all about like being welcoming into like one of the first things my boss said to me is like, you need to be out and getting drunk at the bars, and like, you know, it was just kind of a whole different like culture, and I'd never been in it. And so I made a ton of dumb mistakes just because I didn't know how to hang in the like, darkness is a strong word, but like the different culture of the music industry. It doesn't live and be, it's not governed by the same values that Belmont is, if that makes sense.
We talked about that a little bit because we went to this like show in not Memphis, but where did we go the other weekend?
Leiper's Fork.
Yeah. And we were talking about how, because I'm like, people are always like, you got to get with the party scene, like when you like get into Nashville, like in the music industry, to make it. And I'm like, I feel like I haven't experienced that yet. And I'm, like, kind of nervous because I'm, like, I don't know what that vibe is, but, like, I hear people say that all the time.
In country music specifically, I feel like a lot of deals get done in Midtown, you know, at Losers and Red Door. And, you know, I feel like that's going to all the, you know, I feel like I've seen students, y'all's friends at Why Not Wednesday or some sort of, like, writers' rounds. And that's just kind of, it's where the action happens, for better or for worse. It's also right by Music Row. So, you know, at the end of the day, everybody goes to happy hour and then stays out all night. It's not, I think, ultimately, I just had to learn my limits, because I was an RA when I was here. I wasn't drinking. I didn't know how to hold my liquor. You know, I just had to learn some lessons the hard way. And so anyway, I try to hopefully spare y'all. I don't know if I do, but I think
you do.
You definitely do.
Yeah.
No, I always appreciate when people are honest about like just the realities of everything, because especially as we are getting closer to like being in the big bad world, you know, I just think like it's just refreshing to hear people have honest perspectives, you know.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people will sugarcoat it, but I'm like, no, just tell me what I need to know, because I want to be able to not like succeed as quickly as I can, because everybody's path is so different. And you never know how that's going to look, but I want to be able to bypass any roadblocks that I can, if possible.
Mm-hmm. And just know how to prepare.
Yeah. Mentally and emotionally and all the things. I also want to talk about the Kirby Awards, because you were at the Kirbys.
I was.
Tell me about that.
It was incredible. So Belmont did a new thing this year where they had the Kirby Awards for the Curb College, and just honored different organizations and student leaders for their time at Belmont for the seniors, and just for their time so far at Belmont for everybody else. And it was awesome. It was so fun. I am co-president of BUSA, the Songwriting Association, and we won an award with a couple of other organizations for an event that we did in the fall with Good Molecule Skincare. Yeah. So we had a round and different like booths set up for every organization and skincare, and it was so fun. So yes, won an award for that, which we're really thankful for.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It was awesome. It was just fun to have a little bit of time to reflect on everything, because I feel like for me, I'm sure for you too, college has gone so fast.
Yeah.
And I've loved every bit of it. It's just gone so quickly, and so it was nice to have a minute just to sit and reflect and say, wow, like that was that long ago, or you know, we did that and we forgot we even did that. Yeah, it's fun. So it was awesome.
Yeah,
proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, proud of you too.
Thanks.
I feel like that's because in college, like there's so many opportunities to like meet these different goals that we have and be a part of these organizations, and like there are opportunities to be proud of yourself. So how, like, in post-grad, you've been in post-grad for a little while, but, like, in the whole, like, industry, how do you stay proud of yourself, like, with reaching goals? And even if you don't reach a goal, because sometimes things get on hold and they don't get cut. And, how do you stay proud of yourself?
That's a really good question. And I think that's something I could work on is I'm very, and I noticed this with a lot of people, even Shane, my boss, and all of the most successful people that I know don't stop and smell the roses very often because they're always concerned about getting to the next thing and getting to the next goal. To be a goal-oriented person, which I know you are, and I'm guessing you are, Kat, is, you know, there's often something else waiting in the wings that you want. And I definitely have a lot waiting in the wings that I still want to have happen. And so I went to an award show 2 nights ago called the AIMP Awards, and I was up for an award, and that was a moment of, we didn't win, but I sat and was just like, you know what, it's really an honor to be sitting with, like, Jessie Jo Dillon was a table away from me, Ashley Gorley was a table away from me, and to look and see these extraordinary people who are at the top of their craft, who are, like, actively hit makers that the whole world knows. To be just a few degrees of separation away from that, it feels like Belmont me would be proud. And so I just try to remind myself of that every so often. I definitely could do that more because I spend a lot more time beating myself up for what I haven't had happen yet. But I think that that's so important to, like, our sustainability as creative people. I spoke with I've been starting to see a sports psychologist just to kind of, like, keep my mind right as I, you know, I think it's so interesting if you're, like, a baseball player in a hitting slump or some sort of something. I've just felt my creativity wax and wane through the years, and I just want to be able to be as readily accessible to it as possible. And she said something along the lines of, I'm an expert in my field, and I'm going to show up and get the job done. And that's just, like, some messaging that I want to keep at the heart of, like, I've put in my 10,000 hours of getting to do this. And so even just the, like, getting to that point of getting your reps in, and y'all, where you're at in your careers, of y'all have put in 4 years of getting degrees, and you now are more equipped than you've ever been to go out into the world and become experts in your field. And so that's something that I just want to keep at the heart of what I'm about. A lot more times I'm like, I'm podunk and not that good at this. And so I'm just trying to kind of fix my mindset on that too.
That's a very affirming thing to say. Like, I'm a professional and I'm going to get it done. But it's also a balanced phrase because it's like, well, I have to get it done. Got to be real with myself. But, like, that's also good to, like, throw that in there and be like, well, I am doing it. I am doing the thing. But it's like, to do the thing, you got to, like, actively do it. And, like,
and be confident, which I, you know, I definitely veer into insecurity a lot more than I do, like, over ego-ness, which I think a lot of the people I've observed that are the most successful are real, like, they present like, I have it all together, you know? And so I think there's such a line. I never want to show up egotistical, but I do think that to be as creative as you can be, you have to show up and be, even just speaking up in a co-write, as I know y'all know, it's like you have to believe in the integrity of your own ideas. So anyway. And
then when you fall on your face, if you're having an ego about things, that's not pretty. You know?
But also such a part of it. You know, I think that getting a line passed over in a co-write is just par for the course. And I always think, like, even if I say a stupid line, it'll probably help us get to where we're going. So I just would rather say something dumb than hold up the process, you know? So.
You know what? That's true. That's true. Especially about the stupid line thing. I completely agree with that. I also want to give us a moment to hype you up, since we're talking about being proud of ourselves and all that stuff. But, Evie, what are some of your favorite songs of Emily's that you want to share?
So, my all-time favorite is Do Over, and you probably get that all the time.
You're sweet.
For me, A, because of the song, and B, because for me it's something that I've heard throughout my entire time at Belmont. For the most part. I don't remember what year y'all wrote that. But
I think 22 or 23, I forget.
But so around my sophomore year, I just started hearing you play that at the listening room or at different Belmont events. And so, I don't know. It's just always stuck in my head.
We heard that at the listening room the other day.
And I was freaking out.
Really good.
So good.
Y'all are sweet.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I'd, like, never heard that song before. And then you played it, and I was like, oh, my God.
It hurts. It's so good.
Y'all are sweet. Yeah, I'm grateful for that song. And for the dudes I wrote it with. They're some of my favorite co-writers, so.
One of my favorites of yours, and I don't remember the title, but we had it played in Catalog Cast, I think, because it's uncut, but it's the song about the gardener or something.
Yeah.
That one hits.
Oh,
it's so good.
You're so sweet. Yeah, I never write songs alone, and that was kind of
You wrote that alone?
Yeah, I have been trying to get back in touch with like the me that was at Belmont writing these angsty demos that got me my pub deal. They were all 100%ers. And so I think getting back to that, like, what is my writer voice? Because I'm in a lot of rooms with other artists who have things that they want to say, or country dudes that have a different skill set than I do. And so I wanted to kind of get back in touch with like, who am I as a writer just by myself? And that was kind of my first foray into that. Especially I was feeling some type of way about the music business, which I do often.
Yeah.
And just sat in my apartment living room and wrote that because I was kind of mad.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for you saying that, because that song means a lot to me too.
No, that was awesome. Like one of our favorites. I think it was Jolie Riemann who found that song, and she was just like, this is one of my favorites. Another one of mine is you played a club song when we were at the listening room.
Hilarious.
I love it. I love it. And I didn't know you wrote songs like that too.
Oh, I did. Actually, you said you write mostly country songs, and I laughed because my publishers will be thrilled to know that, because I feel like they love when I write country songs, and that's like what they want me to do. But in my heart, I'm a pop songwriter, and that was my why I started, was to kind of help. There was a whole movement like when I was graduating of all these pop companies moving to Nashville, and so I've always kind of written. My dad's from California. I grew up on like the Beach Boys and Carole King and all sorts of like non-country. I love country, but I always veered towards like the Keith Urban-y, like more pop leaning stuff.
Yeah.
And so I work a lot with like, I'll go to Europe and do a writing trip. I had a few cuts last year on one of my favorite pop artists. Her name's Astrid S. She's from Norway.
Yeah.
But I've definitely done, to me, a lot in pop as well. So I feel like, the dance, if you go into the Rolodex, there's quite a few dance features. They're kind of carefully hidden on my Spotify, but you can go find them.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
and it was funny because you were like, sitting there, you're like, this is where the drop would be if we were playing the track. I was like, this is like so perfect. Like, I love that you have such versatility like in your writing, and like,
thank you.
I love pop and I love writing pop. So like, I appreciate, do you feel like it's harder? It probably is a lot harder to like find pop cuts and that sort of thing, but how have you like balanced that?
Yeah, I think it's been seasonal for me. I think being willing to travel, also if you're a non-country writer living in Nashville, being willing to go to LA consistently, there's a lot more opportunity there than there is here. But I've been fortunate to get connected with, different people who are pop hit makers in Nashville. I've had some cuts on a band called Nightly, who's extraordinary, and they're a pop-based band that live here in town. I've written with, King Henry and Sasha Sloan, who are pop hit makers. There's all kinds of like...
I love Sasha Sloan.
Yeah, she's amazing. There's extraordinary people that are in Nashville that you don't realize are here. But I definitely think it just requires some creativity and being willing to network. I have a whole squad of friends that lives in LA.
Yeah.
So I feel like having some collaborators that are non-country people is kind of the key to having success in multiple genres.
Yeah, I would agree. I want to give you guys, we talked about a lot of things, but I want to give you an opportunity to also, just like last time, give Evie any advice that you want to give her. You guys obviously already talk a lot, so you probably talked about these things, but Emily, if you have any advice that you would share with Evie, especially as like she's graduating and like we're graduating and all that. Anything you would say to like your younger self.
Well, I feel like you're probably sick of me because we sit at Fenwick's every Friday and and I give you a lot of probably unsolicited advice, but I think for both of y'all, just rest in who you are, because I think it's beautifully sufficient and you are already doing so much and making an extraordinary mark on our town, and so just keep on doing exactly what you're doing. Trust yourself. I think that's something that I wish I'd been told, is like, I've always heard gut feelings are guardian angels, and so when you are having, one of my favorite authors, Glennon Doyle, also talks a lot about your knowing, like that inner voice that tells you where you're supposed to go next. Trust that. And I think we've talked a lot about like whether to go the industry route or whether to go the creative route, and I think that's something that I really struggled with while I was here, was like, do I go and take the stable path and like work up in the music publishing world of things and like represent other people's songs, or do I chase the dream of going and writing my own? And there are a lot of days where the grass looks greener over on the stable path now that I know what the creative path is like. But I think there's such joy to taking the risk, and I didn't want to get to my deathbed and be like, did I like miss my calling by not chasing after the dream that brought me here? And so I'm grateful to have made some bold decisions along the way, and I pray that for y'all, that whatever your trajectory looks like, that you let love be what guides you, not fear, which I think a lot of times I let fear be what guides my decision making. And so I think y'all just continue to trust yourself and know that it's all going to work together in a really beautiful way.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful advice.
It is.
Very well spoken. Thank you guys so much for being here. This was awesome to get to do this again, and yeah, wish you guys the best of luck in everything that you do.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Sister.